Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Now I've got so many new makeup items that I haven't caught up on things that I bought like a month ago yet. But I thought that I would do this today, which is the set that I picked up in the airport when I flew to my aunt's funeral in October. I love travel sets and I love I've always loved looking in beauty shops at airports because I just love things that all fit together. But the other advantage of showing you this is that I believe that this is also part of Dior's Christmas collection. I'm going to put the links below, so I think you can actually buy this from Dior even for Christmas. Okay, I've had a look at the Dior site. There isn't one that's identical to this on sale, but there's some that are very, very similar. There's a couple actually, one where the lipsticks are the same, but the eyeshadow's different, and the other one where the blushes look similar, but the eyeshadows don't. And there's just a few similar, and also the packaging on this one is more for travel, and then they've changed the packaging on the Christmas ones, which has a slightly different case. But I'm going to put the ones that look similar in the description bar below so that you can have a look and compare them. I think the only difference is that the travel one that I picked up in the airport has got a free mascara in it. Again, have a look at my links because one of them does have a mascara with it. Okay, I still haven't done my nails. They look really awful. Someone noticed my nails have been really bad recently and they've been splitting and everything. So I kind of lost focus on painting them, but they're in dire need of repainting. So just don't look at my nails. I want to get this makeup look on. Okay, let's get going with this look. And I'm going to do a kind of second impression because I did try it in Glasgow when I bought it. I bought it on the way out so that if need be I could use it whilst I was in Glasgow. So I've used it a bit, but I'm going to do a look with it today, and I shall do some swatches and put them at the end because I just want to get on with the look. Okay, so it comes in a velvet case, and there's a lovely, for the travel size, the one that I got at the airport, it's got a lovely little pocket in there. I thought that they'd missed out my mascara. And I went, there's no mascara. But they've got a little pocket in there, which is really handy for the travel mascara. And then at the front, I probably need to take this plastic off now. Take that off. Is this little complexion brush, which, I don't know what's the matter with my pronunciation today. There's a complexion brush. So you can use it like that, or you can fold it in on itself and use it as a more of a contour brush. So for a little travel brush, I mean, I know it's probably not the best when you're using it at home, but for travel, that's a really clever idea. And that slots in the front of here. Okay, and then you have this palette, which is in beautiful packaging, and it is wiped down. Just really love the aesthetics of that. Okay, so you've got these eyeshadows in the middle here, and then you've got 4 lipsticks, and you've got 2 blushes, and then this. Now, I thought this was actually a face powder. Started applying it all over my face and then realised it was more of a highlighter, a kind of illuminator, so a powder cum highlighter, but I wouldn't put it all over your face. Okay, so that's what's in the set, and I'm just going to do a quick and simple look. Also, you get these 2 brushes. You get the silly little sponge applicator, which is okay if you're travelling. So you've got a small one, and I did use it, as you can see, when I was travelling. And then you've got the lip brush, but probably tend not to use that too much. Okay, my eyes are looking quite dark this morning, so I'm going to go in a bit on the Charlotte Tilbury formula of doing things. And I'm going to use this very pale shade at the beginning, just as a kind of prime shade. this one here, and put that all over, because my eyes are a little bit, I know I've put a little bit of foundation over my eyes, but I just want to brighten them up a bit. So I'm going to apply that as a prime shade. And it's not too shimmery that it's going to make, once I've got the other powders over, it's not going to make the hood of my eyes look too shimmery. It's more of an eye brightener than a kind of highlighter. Okay, and so I'm actually going to go in with this lovely taupey shade, because I think that would look lovely in the socket. Right, if you've got fairer skin, that's going to look beautiful on as a kind of enhanced type shade. But on me, it's really coming out more as a transition. So I'm going to build it up by putting this darker brown that's on the other side, and I'm going to build that up, starting at the outer edge and then going into the socket. That's going to work better on me. And Dior go in for really classic looks, you know, classic, classy. And it has to be said that a good kind of golds and browns is a really good classic look that works well for a lot of people. I'm going to actually use this applicator thing because I don't want to use my fingers today, but I'm going to go in with this centre one here and use this on my mobile lid to open up my eyes a little bit. That's pretty. And that would probably work really well as well if you wet it. But I don't really want a very glammed up look today, so I'm just going to leave it dry. But I can imagine that that would look really nice if you wet it. Now I'm just looking at this other one. Now that's more of a matte shade. So this other one here is more, again, of a skin coloured matte shade. Now what this would be good for is if you've got fairer skin, it would be a good transition shade. It would work still on me. So where I've got, if I put, so say you're travelling and I put this in a nice thick line with the applicator, the darkest shade, I'm just going to demonstrate what I mean. And I think, oh, crumbs, look, I need to blend that out. Don't worry, I'll do the same on the other side. What this is going to work well as is a nice transition to help you to blend out the edges at the top, because it's kind of a lovely skin colour and it's going to help you to do that. I better do the same on the other side or it's going to look a little bit unbalanced. Blend it a bit with my fingers. Then take the transition shade and blend out the top. Then I'm going to take the other side of that applicator and I'm going to go in with the lightest shade in there and use that to highlight under my brow. They're quite good for when, as an alternative, these applicators, for when you don't want to use your fingers but you want a similar kind of application as if you were applying it with your fingers. Like that. And what I might do with the applicator is also dot some. As you know, I like to do that. Dot some in the centre of my mobile lid just to open up the eyes a little bit more and give me a nice pop. And then I'm going to use this. Why not? Let's see if it works. I'm going to take the dark shade and the second darkest taupey shade and just run that underneath. Okay, now there's no liner in this set, but what you can do, actually I am going to do it today because my eyes have been quite sensitive, is take the tip of this and run that along the upper lid. And if you want a little bit more definition, you could wet it. I don't really need to because my eyes have been watering. I really like using powder eyeshadows as liners when my eyes are sensitive, because you can get them really close into the lash line and you don't have to press too much on the eye, because sometimes it's the action of pressing on the eyelid that actually starts your eyes watering rather than the actual product. I think a lot of people think, oh, my eyes are watering, it's actually the ingredients in the product. But I actually think it's a lot to do with how hard you have to press a lot of the time. And then I'm going to just try and join up that. I know I've already put some underneath, but I'm just going to make sure that I join that up. There we go. Because I want a more soft look. I don't want something heavily done up today. Right, and then I'm going to go in with the mascara. So I'll just get that and I'll be right back. I'm balancing things at the moment. Right, here's the mascara. It's got a curled edge like that. I don't want you to see my nails. There you go. It's got a curved edge like that. So it's a good curling mascara. So I'm going to put that on and I'll be right back. Oh, look at my nails. Okay, so I've done my eyes. I've done my brows off camera and I've done mascara. I feel like they're missing something. They're not popping enough. And I think because I've got brown eyes, they're beautiful colours, but I just feel like they're missing something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the Victoria Beckham Navy Noir. Because what that will do is it won't necessarily look really bright blue. But what the navy does is it kind of is a contrast to the brown. And this is especially good if you've got brown eyes. Because you won't necessarily, the eye won't necessarily notice it as being blue. But it will contrast and it will just make the eyes stand out. I'll just do this one side. So that you can see the difference. And I'm going to take it underneath and smudge it in. You might see a little bit of the blue underneath, and this eye's watering, so this doesn't want to go on. Let's just smudge this out. Yeah, can you see that just sort of frames the eye more? Whereas with the brown, it was kind of, it wasn't making my eyes stand out as much. It's a really good trick if you've got brown eyes and you're using brown eyeshadow. Charlotte Tilbury talks about this in her Sophisticate. She uses her Sophisticate palette for people with brown eyes, and then she finishes off by using her navy eyeliner. I've mentioned this tutorial so many times, I'm going to put a link to it in the description bar for the same reason. Now, I'm putting it all the way along. You don't have to. You could just put a pop of the navy in the corner. And anyone will tell you, oh, you've got black eyeliner on. But actually, if I put black on, it just would not make my eyes pop as much because it's just contrasting and it's setting off the brown in my eyes. So just a little trick to share with you there. Okay, now I'm preferring that now. I'm liking that now. The other thing that Charlotte Tilbury does in her tutorial, where she does this kind of how to bring out brown eyes, is she puts in a eye cheat in the waterline, which again just helps the blue pop your eyes even more. Can you see that? Even better. It's just when you've got brown eyes and you're using brown shadow, it can just sometimes be a bit too brown, and therefore you see I keep doing that. It just keeps kind of making everything disappear, and it's about bringing your features forward. Preferring that already. Okay, so let's move on to the face products. So as you can see, these are the two blushes, which look rather intimidating, bright red and bright coral. I'm actually going to use both of them so that you can see them as a swish and pop. But when I've got dark blushes like this that I'm a little bit afraid of, I always reach for my Real Techniques blush brush, because this is it's got so much give in it and it's so soft that it's almost impossible to over apply blush and end up looking like Aunt Sally from The Wizard of Oz. Of course, I mean Aunt Sally from Wurzel Gummidge. What am I like? So I'm going to use the pink first, and then I'm going to use the pop of colour as the red. I mean, you could do it either way round really, but let's do it that way. It's interesting how they've gone for these bright pinks with the brown, probably for the same reason that I put the blue eyeliner on, to kind of add something contrasting underneath. Now, can you see that brush just will not allow me to apply too much? It's definitely, if you're scared of blush or you always feel like you over apply your blush, get the Real Techniques blush brush. Because of the way that it gives, it's just not going to allow too much product all at once. And then I'm going to give it a pop of the red. Go easy, but again, this will blend it out. This will blend it out really. I'm glad that that kind of went on too much, because you can see that this brush will blend it out beautifully, like so. Right, and then we've got the Illuminator. Now I'm just going to switch to my Charlotte Tilbury sculpt brush, and I'm going to put the Illuminator on with that. It's not too sparkly. Again, if you're somebody that worries about really sparkly highlighters, perhaps you've got fine lines, this is a really classy Illuminator. It gives you that lovely effect when you turn your face, but it's not going to look too shimmery. It's not going to be like Ofra, which is beautiful and stunning. I love Ofra highlighters, but they can be a little bit too much, especially if you've got fine lines around that area. Very nice indeed. And then, of course, you've got the lip. Now, the one thing I will say about this, and I do hate it when they do this in palettes. If you're going to put cream lipsticks in with all next to these powders, I do wish they put a plastic top, a little lid on the, because otherwise you get all the fallout from the eyeshadows sort of landing in the lipstick, which, I mean, is not the end of the world in the great scheme of world problems, but it's just a little bit unhygienic and a little bit off-putting. But anyway, I'm going to use the red, of course, because you know I like my reds. I'm just going to clean the top because I can see I've got some eyeshadow in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to use this lip brush. Why not? A little tip from Daniel Sarner. Did you notice I started doing that and then I changed? Daniel Sarner gave me this tip. He said, always paint your lips, your lip liner and your lip, if you're doing it with a brush, up, because it will just automatically, the shape will look more lifted. And he's so right. Lovely moisturising formula. And that is the look using this Dior set. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, one thing I'll say about this, let me just give you my thoughts. I'd say it's not the most exciting palette in the world, to be honest, if I'm perfectly honest. But it is a good classic look. And I definitely think if you're buying a palette like this, you know, you might be buying it because you're traveling a lot, which is why they sold it in the airport, or perhaps going away for business or whatever. It's very good. It's a classy, non-controversial, will go with anything you're wearing look. Definitely, definitely. If you've got brown eyes, though, I would definitely supplement it with a navy eyeliner and maybe the eye cheat that I used, because I think that will just help the look. I think if you've got blue eyes, you've already got the contrasting colour there, and this would really work really well if you've got blue eyes. The other thing I would say is that the eyeshadows are nice, but I do find that they're a little bit on the dry side, and perhaps not as flattering on my eyelids as, say, I've found MAC have been recently. I'm actually really loving MAC eyeshadow at the moment, and I never used to. I used to find it terrible and I gave up with them, but actually having just been using that palette that was in the Diwali edit, I was really impressed, and I've noticed the difference in terms of the dryness. This is quite dry formula, but some people prefer a very dry formula, and I definitely think it's worth me. I will actually, before I go, let's just wet that eyelid shade to see if it just brings it alive a bit, given that it is so dry. I'll be right back and I'll do that. Okay, wet the brush and loaded it up with this shade. Yes, that definitely works better as a wet shadow. Can you see how much better that looks on the eye? This one kind of disappears, but that works a lot better. So I'm going to do that with the other eye. Just take some more of my shadow and squirt it. I've run out of my Charlotte Tilbury. I have got a travel size, but right by the side of me, I've got this Elemis one that I got in that set from Go Haunted. And it's Rose Hydro Mist, so I'm just squirting my brush with that. And actually what's quite good about this is it's got quite a fine spray. So it's quite good for squirting and wetting brushes. Yeah, see, sometimes it's the little things like that that make a huge difference to your makeup. And that has definitely helped. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. Any questions, do let me know. I would say, on the whole, if you travel around a lot, or you're flying or whatever, this is really good, all in one set to stick into your case. And you know, you're working, it's going to be a non-controversial, classy look. And I'm going to leave you now with the swatches, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. All right, take care, and thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye. Mwah.